Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars, and welcome to my episode 10 review of the Grand Tour. Season 3's the Grand Tour, and this episode is called the Youth Vote. Now, after the little bit of the underwhelming episode that we got last week, even though I did enjoy it, I think it was probably the weakest of this series 3. I was really hoping that it could get back on track with a very strong episode, and I'm delighted to say I think they've done that. I thought this was a really fun episode, loads of fun, and this episode started out with James May testing the classic Ferrari Testarossa, the 80s supercar that was seen in shows like Miami Vice and many celebrities drove. So he's driving it around the Ebola ring, and then you get Hammond turning up in a Lamborghini Countach, another classic 80s supercar, and they go head to head with a few challenges and races and to find out which one's the best. And it was a great fun segment actually, two absolutely classic supercars. And then at the end of that they both go around the Ebola ring. Abby drives them around to see which one is the fastest round the track, which gives some really fun results. So really strong start to the show, I have to say. Then it goes on to the Conversation Street. Conversation Street is always fun and entertaining. I never ever find it a letdown. So it's always a high point of episodes, Conversation Street, and this one's no exception. I enjoyed it very much. And then it goes on to the meat and two veg of this episode, the hot hatchback section, which is relating to the title, the Youth Vote. So they have to each choose their a hot hatchback and meet up to do a series of challenges. So Jeremy Clarkson chooses the new Volkswagen Polo, Richard Hammond chooses the new Ford Fiesta, and James May chooses the new Toyota Yaris. And they set off and do some challenges. The first one is they do a pursuit race. The second one, they do a drag race, all very standard Grand Tour type stuff really. And then they get a message from the producer Andy Willman saying you're a set of imbeciles, that's not what the youth want today, they don't care about that sort of thing, make your cars appealing to millennials. So they have to go away and they put like logos and things on the car to try and appeal to millennials. James May puts a blender in his to appeal to millennials. And they're given some other challenges, which is the really fun part of this episode. And by that I mean, well, the first challenge they have to do is to get themselves and the car that they're driving pictured by the paparazzi and put in the Mail Online. So Clarkson changes his tyre in London city centre, and he gets like a celebrity who's appealing to the youth culture to try and change the tyre with him in the hope that the paparazzi will spot him and take pictures. Richard Hammond takes his wife out for lunch in a posh restaurant in the hoping that the paparazzi will spot them in the car and take pictures. And James May takes an ageing historian out for a curry in the hope that he'll get spotted and get some pictures taken. The next challenge is who can get the most likes on Instagram with the coolest picture. So Hammond gets a wildlife photographer to take a dynamic picture of his. James May, I'm trying to think what James May does with his now. Oh, he goes on top of a bus. And Clarkson doesn't really make any effort at all in the hope that who can get the most likes. And then the third one is who can get the most views on YouTube. So Clarkson creates some comedy character, like fast show type character, in the hope he'll get lots of views. Richard Hammond does a series of stunts with his car that he hopes will get a lot of views on YouTube. And James May does the classic unboxing video for YouTube. He's a bit more tuned into what people watch on YouTube, clearly. So he literally puts his car in a cardboard box and does an unboxing video for YouTube. And then they meet up in the studio at the end and they tot up all the scores, which is classic Top Gear type stuff, which they haven't done that much on the Grand Tour, and see which car comes out on top. So I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I really did. I'm giving it a very strong 8.5 out of 10. It's very much back on track, I would suggest, after even the enjoyable episode last week, but it was my least favourite of season 3. But this was certainly back on the right track for me. It was really entertaining. I love the hot hatchback segment. It was loads of fun to watch. and the classic car opening, the 80s supercars, was brilliant to watch as well. So yeah, I have to say I really enjoyed this episode, very much so. So I'm looking forward now to, I think we've got 3 more episodes to go in season 3. So I'm hoping the series can finish on a real high. I'm sure they can. So I'm looking forward to giving you my reviews for the final 3 episodes. So I'll see you next week for another episode review. And of course I'll see you next time on Screen Stars 2.